You know, I've heard of thrash metal bands before, but I've never actually heard of a trash metal band, which is pretty much what Country Willie and the Cosmic Debris is, because they use real trash metal, right?
Yeah, yeah. The drum set, you know, made out of pieces of, you know, debris and trash and everything was, you know, was a real fun drum set to play. But man, it was tough to haul around.
Gotcha.
And sound checks were awful with it. I upset one sound guy really badly.
So when we get into this wacky road trip of a film, there's this air of confusion because we're wondering how much of this is real and how much of it is maybe scripted.
Everything that we filmed was, you know, pretty much, you know, I was filming, you know, true people doing their things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, afterwards, I didn't shoot it like a reality show where I got a lot of interviews. You know, I really just shot footage. So afterwards, I had to, you know, assemble it, and the way to do that, the best way to do that was with a voiceover. So I utilized the voiceover a lot, and in that area, you get, you know, we had a lot of fun with the story.
That's the part that's written, the voiceover, the narration.
Okay.
So.
And I love your narrator because he's so deadpan, and this wacky stuff is going on, and yet you've got this really straight man voice going on. So who is that guy? He's really good.
That's Don Morrow. He didn't see the movie, so he had no point of reference.
He was very confused when I was trying to explain him the movie.
Don Morrow spent the better part of the late 80s and early 90s doing all the big commercials for Hollywood films like Titanic and Saving Private Ryan. He was the big voice, you know, back then for the commercials. And so he got our script and really didn't know what to think of it.
Yeah, he wanted to make some corrections, and I had to tell him that, no, it's correct as is.
Some of the historical flaws didn't fly with Don, but he was eventually a sport and went ahead and laid it down as best he could, Eric's way.
That's great. That's really one of my favorite parts. So how did you guys become familiar with the legendary Stardust Cowboy?
Through Country Willie, you know. Willie, who's come to find out after the movie, Willie and I are cousins, you know. We went to lunch with my dad, and we started talking about, you know, he started talking about his hometown Sardis, and my dad was like, "Oh, that's where our family's from." I didn't know this. And then, you know, they got to talking, blah, blah. Next thing I know, I'm looking at Willie, we're cousins.
That's not too rare in East Texas. So.
Yeah, he told me about the legendary Stardust Cowboy, and he said, "Man, this guy's amazing. He's banned from outer space." And he went on and on about him. And, you know, he was, you know, writing letters to these different artists that he wanted to record with. And the Ledge wrote him back, you know, and said, you know, if you get up here, let's do it. So, you know, from Nacogdoches to San Jose was a long ways away.
Now, there's a lot of politically incorrect stuff that makes the film fun to watch for me. You've got a cockfighting, you know, backstory, and then you got this guy with a cannon. In fact, Birdman, is that Birdman's dad that has a cannon?
Yeah.
And it looks like that's real cannon shooting real shells.
Oh, yeah.
So is that happening somewhere near Nacogdoches?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'd load that thing with rusty chains, and you can throw some, you know, you can throw anything down the barrel and shoot it. It'll do some damage.
There's a lot of wide open spaces out there, believe it or not. It's, you know,
That's amazing. I mean, what do the neighbors think when they cannon?
What I love about
separated
the
by
cannon,
thick groves of pine forest. So.
yeah, what I love
soaks up a lot of cannon shot.
because it's on a trailer, and it has its own license plate, so it's illegal to drive it. But it points right at the car behind you whenever you drive.
Oh.
You'll never see a film like this. It's you know, whenever I set out to film it, I had one expectation, you know, that I was really just gonna make a carnival ride, you know, that I was just gonna do something that was just crazy. But you know, the film turned out to be beautiful.
A lot more heart than he really thought it would.
Yeah, you know, I didn't imagine that I was gonna find that much, you know, just beauty in these characters.